So a few days ago, it would be a day for me when I'm recording this, I released this video and half of it is still correct, so I'm gonna keep it up. But I talked about Infold and Paper Games, their very specific advertisement campaign that was pulled, and an article that called this game AI. This game does not actually have generative AI elements. Let me just take off my headphones in order to look more personal and less like I've just been watching videos myself on the internet. I have misled people and I do apologize for that because this game Love and Deepspace, it doesn't actually have AI boyfriends. It does use AI mainly on the Chinese client, but not to that extent. It uses AI mostly to recognize the voices when people say specific lines in Mandarin, and to also voice act in just one very specific instance where it replaces the voice actor's regular line by inserting the character calling the person that is playing on their phone their chosen nickname. So there is like a ability to voice your chosen nickname, but they do still use voice actors, so it's not even that they're using AI for voice acting. But I wanted to do this whole video and not just like 1 minute 40 seconds where I apologize for not doing my due research as to how I ended up here and the kind of language that gets used with this game, where it makes me doubt that it's just an Otome game, and I don't know whether it is the language that is surrounding it or whether it is the way that the game is presented, or perhaps the way that the features are engaged with it, because the way that it is described in some of these articles would make you think that it is an AI boyfriend, especially considering that they use AI very specifically in all these places. So just to give you a variety of what happens when you look for Love and Deepspace on Google on the Western internet. AI virtual boyfriends take China by storm. This one, Deep Space mobile game takes over China, lifelike 3D characters create a web of love. Love and Deepspace combines AI, voice recognition, and action gameplay to create immersive virtual relationships. Once again, making you think that it is an AI boyfriend. AI boyfriends just made this gaming entrepreneur a billionaire. AI replaces boyfriends in China, making entrepreneur a billionaire. And then we have virtual love boom. Young Chinese women spend millions on AI boyfriends in hit mobile game Love and Deepspace. Now, mind you, technically anything scripted is AI, but when we're talking AI in these days, we mean generative AI. And when we're talking about AI as a character, we're normally talking about the language models playing a role that people have given them that they were trained for. Therefore, AI boyfriends and girlfriends is an actual term, and it represents a specific type of product. Normally one that tends to illustrate a very specific cartoony or even realistic looking person that will then generate lines according to the personality traits that they're supposed to be portraying when they're answering you. We normally don't call scripted Otome game AI boyfriend. That is not one and the same, even though technically games use artificial intelligence, but it's like a different kind of artificial intelligence. Like a flowchart is technically not artificial intelligence. I would argue that a trained language model is also not really artificial intelligence, but it's what trained language model is what we're currently calling AI, or more specifically, generative AI. So when you're saying an AI boyfriend, it has a very specific type of connotation to it. And it doesn't help that this has been repeated over and over again. Now, mind you, I could have just gone and asked on Reddit, which I now did, does the Chinese version of Love and Deepspace have generative AI capabilities? And the answer broadly is no. More specifically, it's only for minor features like voicing the main character nicknames or like recognizing their speech thing. So, you speak into the phone, it picks up certain lines, and then you get an output of a line back. There were some people arguing whether or not the backgrounds for the game are AI generated. I'm not gonna get into that because I'm not the one to judge this. But I could have just gone and asked. However, the amount of articles made it seem like that's what it is. And if you're watching gameplay of the game, it also doesn't help that it isn't fully clear because the game does have a messaging system, a way to message the characters. The game has like fake social media profiles for these characters. If you're watching someone's gameplay, it may not be entirely clear if these outputs that you're getting from the character are generated on the spot or scripted. They're scripted, I'm saying now so that you know, but I have done my research. I just got completely misinformed by the internet. And I had nothing to show me otherwise, and I didn't think to ask, so that is entirely on me. But let's not ramble on onto that. Let's just talk about the language that is used in a lot of these stories and why it sounds so much like an actual AI boyfriend. And I will want you to ask you guys, the guys that are playing this at the end, of whether or not this is correct portrayal, whether or not this is just some really bizarre marketing, or what is this? Because it seems to me like people are unhealthily attached to this game the way that they would be to an AI boyfriend, not the way that you would normally typically treat a visual novel Otome game. And just to prove that I have played them before, Destiny's Princess of War Story, a love story, I played that for 20 hours, last played 2016. I must have not really liked My Butler all that much because apparently my full playtime of this one was 2.3 hours. Played in 2016. I think I finished one route and then didn't find others engaging enough. And most recently, I played Phantom of the Twilight because I wanted a vampire romance story, and I just kind of looked for that on Steam in... When was this? In March 1st this year. So just so you know, I do play Otome games. I'm not talking down Otome games. I'm saying that the way that this game is portrayed in particular is kind of weird, and I just want you guys to give me input on what the heck is happening in here. So let me just illustrate what I mean by weird. We have multiple extracts from multiple different articles. Cece Liu, a 36-year-old employee at a Beijing-based securities firm, spends around 2,000 yuan per month on the game. She coined it as an experience that really defines how romance should be. I play it every day and I ask Silas, her in-game boyfriend, for food suggestions during lunch. And somebody has filmed this for me on my Discord. Thank you so much, person. I'm not gonna dox you. But it is pre-scripted, as in all the answers that the program can put out are scripted, but you can ask it for food suggestions. And this lady is taking food suggestions from a video game every single day when she goes to lunch. from her virtual boyfriend, which is the kind of language that you would expect when talking about an AI boyfriend and not an Otome visual novel. That lady might just be weird. Or I might just be very much out of the loop and this is now just what we do with visual novels. I would love some input on that as I drink my glass of water. But that's not like the only thing. Alicia Wang, a 32-year-old editor at Shanghai-based newspaper, has found the ideal boyfriend, Li Shen, a 27-year-old surgeon who goes by the English nickname Zane. Tall and handsome, Zane responds quickly to text messages, answers the phone promptly, and listens patiently to Wang recounting the highs and lows of her day. I can't normally do that with a visual novel. I'm wondering if we're still in line, have we crossed the line, or what the line is, or is this bit blurry, or is this bit not blurry, because apparently I don't have my glasses, I can't see the line. I have no idea where the line is in 2025 on what is normal and regular for an Otome game, and what isn't. To me, this sounds weird. To me, this is not something that I would engage with and feel okay with. I prefer the regular visual novels that focus on a linear story from a start and a finish, and if you play your cards right, aka choose the right answers throughout the way that you go, you get the best ending with the guy that you have chosen. I am not used to the idea of them needing to quickly respond to my text messages. I mean, they're a game character. Answer the phone, they're a game character. Oh, listen to me patient, they're a game character. I'm used to choosing from a list of options that lead to very clear outcomes. It doesn't have to be that way. You can have more in-depth character relationship building, like for example in The Sims, where personality traits would also come into play and things like that. But answers text messages and phone and listens patiently. Is this now the regular Otome genre? Is this regular? Have I been out of the loop? Did I just wake up after sleeping underneath a rock? Is this weird? To me, this is weird, but I don't know if this is weird objectively. Zane's only drawback, he doesn't exist outside a silicon chip. Wang is one of an estimated 6 million monthly active players of the popular dating simulation game Love and Deepspace, launched in January 2024 and developed by Shanghai-based Paper Games. It uses AI and voice recognition to make its 5 male characters, the love interests or boyfriends, flirt with tailored responses to in-game phone calls, which once again just kind of raises the AI boyfriend flag for me and not like an Otome game flag. And I think that it is the way that it is written, because once again everything inside the game is pre-scripted, so tailored responses, throw that out, that's a funny word choice. The whole AI is blurry here because it makes you think like it is what it is not. So does the text above also not what it is, but is what it's not? Heavily confused here. Once again, this article, where virtual boyfriends powered by artificial intelligence AI has been a surprise hit, making you think that this is a virtual AI boyfriend, which it isn't. these articles, man. To quote another section, to myself or to my inner circle of close friends, I would say that we are lovers, she told AFP at a birthday event in Beijing. I don't think I need company in real life. He accompanies Lou daily, comforts her when she's down, and even keeps her up to date on her menstrual cycle. It's like emotional sustenance, she said. This attachment, however, comes with a price tag, and this is where it starts talking about the game being expensive. I don't give a shit about the game being expensive. I give a shit about what is that? What is that? Is that like normal? Is this like regular? Is this how people engage with Otome games nowadays? Or is this like I do know that the problem of people selecting dating simulators over real life dating dates back far enough that we even gotten whole fictional works on people like that and whole documentaries on people like that. This didn't make me believe that the whole Otome game genre has been bad necessarily. We have had this kind of fear-mongery language to do with romantic novels. When they first became a thing, you would have like newspapers writing about how bad it is that women are spending time reading these. So it is not like fictional romantic settings being demonized and put down is a new thing. It is also not like people getting overly attached to something that isn't people is a new thing. But the way that this is phrased is bringing me red flags, because it is giving me a very specific picture of the kind of people that engage with these kind of games. But I don't know if my picture is skewed or if my picture is accurate, because I don't have connection with these people, and for all I know, they're playing it like I would be playing Disney's Princess of War Story, a love story, or they're playing it like I play Phantom of the Twilight, or they're playing it like I'm reading actual like romance books, which are entirely not outside the norm for me. So effectively, the way that these articles are framing it, all of them, makes it seem like Love and Deepspace has AI boyfriends, which we have already established. It does not. But when we establish that it does not, my mind goes, what the fuck? So what I need from all of you is a healthy portrayal of what the hell kind of players actually play this game and how do you actually engage with it, and in the comment section, because what I feel this might be is it might be edge cases, and I would like to believe that these people are edge cases and not a normal regular thing. At the same time, the kind of functionality that the game has does seem like the game wants you to have a permanent emotional attachment to it or to characters inside of it, considering the ability to text them and to call them, and if you can speak Mandarin, to speak specific phrases at them. It was kind of funny because apparently you can speak to the men was a post from 2 years ago, and some of these like responses made me think that the people that are playing this in the West at the very least are very sane with it. Like, I feel you OP. Lol, this is so cool, but also if I ever hear myself speak to the 3D men inside my phone, I would be like, go touch grass and actually talk to IRL people, skull emoji. Or, so basically there's a list of words you can say to trigger an interaction with them, such as pet names and simple actions like kiss. Once they hear it, they will respond to you accordingly to what you said. So basically a modern call girl. Gotta pay up that money to call, which makes me feel like the kind of people that are playing the game understand that they're playing the game, which is not what the mass media articles make it seem like. And then it makes me think whether or not this is cultural divide, because a lot of the people interviewed that were talking about this were interviewed on the Chinese side. So do Chinese people have more attachment to virtual scripted Otome game men than the Western audience that is more self-aware of it being virtual people as opposed to something to develop a real emotional connection with? I can't answer that question. I really can't. I do not know. So this is me saying I am very confused about the language used surrounding this game and surrounding with how people interact with this game. If you are viewing this and you play this game, I would appreciate you if you would enlighten me on what is the realistic outlook on the kind of people that play this game and the amount of connection that they have to this game, and how close this game compares to an actual visual novel that you would buy and play through and put down. If you ask me, there's probably like a two-way street in here where the company wants your engagement, so they are including some more fourth wall breaking features that may make these characters seem a bit more real, but at the same time, the portrayal of the people when it comes to this game is a bit like how the women that were reading romance novels when those started up were portrayed, or how people that are playing regular Otome games get portrayed. So part of it is probably media painting people in bad light, but also considering that these articles are seemingly quoting real people, I don't know. I can't tell because I am not part of this community. So I am very confused as sauce on where Love and Deepspace lies on the flippy line between what we expect an AI boyfriend to be, which it is not. I repeat, it does not have generative AI capabilities. And on the other side, what we expect an Otome visual novel to be, which is storyline with set choices that lead to set outcomes. It doesn't tend to involve that personal touch of texting, calling, telling about your day, getting the character to pick your lunch. That kind of, to me, that kind of steps over that blurry line into the area of what it is not. It is not a virtual AI boyfriend, as it doesn't have generative text AI. But there's a line in here somewhere, and it feels like it's bit on it. That's the very least the kind of impression that I'm being given by what the internet is providing to me. So, I've been proved wrong once already. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for holding me accountable. This time, I'm more questioning my own reading comprehension skills and ability to figure out the situation. So this time, I'm just like asking you directly, where's the line? And where does Love and Deepspace place upon it? Is the player base okay? Are they like the romance novel reading ladies? Or are they like that lady that goes, I don't need to date real people anymore because this fulfills all of my emotional needs? Yeah, no offense to the lady, but that's, in my opinion, replacing real life human connection is just not okay. But that's probably not the majority of players. Probably. Anyway, thank you so much for watching me be confused for 26 minutes straight. And I hope that it isn't as bad as I am thinking. Thank you, my Patreon supporters, for still supporting me despite me making mistakes. Thank you for all of you that still choose to watch my videos and point out when I make mistakes. And I hope that I'm gonna get to see you in my other videos about games that I understand a lot better. The reason why I feel so comfy in Infinity Nikki is because I actively play Infinity Nikki. I will probably never be rich enough in order to have a device that is strong enough to play anything like that. And Mirta really sucks with emulation, so I couldn't even check it out through emulation. All I could do was painstakingly watch gameplay on YouTube, which did not clear up the questions that I was having. So hopefully this video will. Anyway, that will be enough now. Hopefully I'm gonna see you in my other videos. Toodaloo for now.